Hello, my name is Elizabeth. I am a graduate student at the College of Social Work, University of Utah. Today I will be talking about online education in refugee communities and refugee camps. It's currently a very hot topic considering the current refugee crisis and the political climate here in the United States in relation to education. Let me start off by defining refugee. Refugee is someone who has been forced to flee his or her own country because of persecution, war, or violence due to a number of reasons. And what I'll be talking about particularly today is how online channels have become an innovative way for individuals with refugee backgrounds to start and pursue a career or an education, or even become certified for whatever other job they're pursuing. Um, in 2013, there were some efforts started in a couple of different states, one being a partnership with the Department of State and Online Learning that permitted over 1,000 free online courses to happen, and many other projects like this one have occurred as we have moved on. Even here at the university, they have had their first undergraduate degree available to individuals in northwestern Kenya refugee camps. Um, but if we zoom out a little bit, the discussion gets very really complex. According to the UNCHR, there are approximately 1.5 million refugees that exist globally, and nearly 50% of that number consist of children. Furthermore, the UNCHR reports that less than 1% of refugees have access to higher education. And so, making education accessible for refugees, it's a pretty significant discussion and conversation, considering the lack of resources and the availability of technology as well. It's also important to acknowledge that education has really become a platform for a number of them to gain a sense of self, gain a sense of growth, even for them, for their communities, and for society in general. However, what I would like to talk about is how I personally think that we really need to consider our privilege and our Western lens whenever we have these conversations. Whenever we tend to explore internationally, we still come up with these Western solutions and Western ways of thinking, which is not necessarily wrong, but I do know that I have to do my homework first to make sure that it is a good fit. Certain ideas impose our Western ways of how to address certain issues or talk about certain issues, and a lot of pedagogy, teaching tools, and so forth come again from our Western way of thinking, which is not necessarily appropriate for everybody. And I think we have to do a lot of learning and spend time in identifying culturally significant ways to have those conversations. Cultures are constantly changing. In fact, they are an evolving target, but we are at such a different starting point from where many communities actually are. And I'm interested in absorbing these kinds of hot issues and engaging in research that's available to people who are from all backgrounds and who are, for instance, working blue collar positions and or just trying to survive. I pose the question of how do we make sure that the information that from research it makes sense and is applicable and accessible to people coming from all backgrounds.